Hey guys, for this video today, I will be discussing a rumor that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who as you can see here, continue to wear these atrocious uniforms. And I know it's a matter of opinion, but this is a situation where I think 95+% of the population will all agree in terms of the football world that the Buccaneers have the worst uniforms in the NFL. These uniforms are absolutely hideous. And it's really, really sad and downright pathetic, in my opinion, that the Buccaneers, when they switched to this uniform set that they've had since 2014, that they've had to wear it for, or that they have to now finish this season so that they've worn it for 5 full seasons before they can finally redesign and obliterate these atrocities or these monstrosities of uniforms to absolute oblivion. So until the NFL and the Buccaneers and Nike can create new uniforms that can send these uniforms blasting off again like Team Rocket and their Pokemon Meowth, the Buccaneers are going to have to force us all to look at their disgusting uniforms for another whole goddamn season. But the good news is that according to the rumors, it sounds like the Buccaneers are actually going to change their uniforms next year once this 5-year time period where they have to wear these stupid things finally comes to an end. Now, looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars redesign that they started wearing last year, is it a big improvement over what they had before this redesign came out last year? Of course. But are they great? No. They went from being overkill, too many things, and those hideous gold and matte black helmets to now being really plain and being kind of mediocre in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are better than what they've replaced. And I would be quite possibly one of the first people to tell you that their new uniforms are better than the really ultra-modern styled uniforms that they attempted to go with, which even included an all gold color rash uniform, mustard uniform that looked like the players were subject to rolling around in vomit during the warm-ups before the game so that their uniforms could have that hideous mustardy gold color that they did. So I think that was enough to get the ball rolling on a redesign, which has resulted in better uniforms, but I'm going to be honest, I really did not care for how simple they've made their new uniforms. I mean, I don't hate them, but I don't particularly love them. And the only uniform that I think out of their 3 uniforms they have now that's any good is their teal jersey. And that's it. And the sad part is that wearing a black helmet and black pants, in my opinion, it isn't the best look. But I will definitely take their 3 uniforms they have now over what they've replaced. Now, let's go back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, in my honest opinion, these guys have by far and away the worst uniforms I have ever seen in the NFL. And arguably the worst uniforms right now in NFL history. Now, I know that's a matter of personal opinion, of course, but for Christ's sake, look at these things. You got this pewter on the shoulders that, I don't know about you viewers out there, but to me, when these uniforms came out 5 years ago, which was actually a little bit before I started making videos, but when they brought these uniforms out, I thought that their shoulders looked like somebody took some feces and smeared it all over the shoulders. And these digital alarm clock numbers, this looks like a really, really bad creative team uniform on a video game. And I don't mean just bad. I mean like absolutely just pathetically bad, like hideous. I mean, I've seen some hideous uniforms, don't get me wrong. But this as a main primary home uniform, I mean, Jesus Christ. I can't believe that the Buccaneers approved this crap. And the saddest part is, and it kills me to say this, but the Buccaneers deserve the embarrassment of having to wear these uniforms again because they were so stupid to approve these things in the first place. I mean, I just don't get the rationale behind this. I don't understand this uniform. I mean, I don't understand where anybody thought how it's even possible that anybody could honestly believe that this is a good idea. I just don't. They've taken the Buccaneers' old flag logo and made it look like the Terminator, kind of. And it's not a compliment. And look at how oversized it is. I mean, I've seen better college football uniforms with ultra-modern styles. I mean, this is just doggone bad. Just hideous. So this rumor about them getting new uniforms next year, if they don't get new uniforms next year, something's wrong. And in my opinion, this is one thing about the NFL that actually really pisses me off, because in the National Hockey League, you only have to wear a main home and away jersey set or an alternate uniform for about 2-3 seasons, and then you can change. I believe it's actually only 2 seasons for an alternate uniform, as far as I'm aware, if I can remember correctly. And if I'm incorrect, please correct me, because I'm not fully sure, and I'm being honest when I say that. But, I can't believe that the NFL forces teams to wear uniforms for 5 years before a redesign. I mean, come on. I don't understand. I think in some cases the NFL should have a little bit of a case-by-case situation where if there's a uniform set like the Buccaneers here that is just so astronomically terrible, why does this stupid redesign have to wait for another goddamned year? I don't understand. I think 5 years is too long. I don't understand. I understand that they don't want to keep redesigning uniforms all the time. And in the Buccaneers case, if they would have just left their uniforms alone, we wouldn't even be talking about this. But my God, a team has to wait 5 years to replace their uniforms? Look at the Cleveland Browns as well. If it wasn't for them bringing out that Color Rush uniform and then making it their full-time home jersey this year, they would be, let me tell you, they would be just as terrible as they've been the past 4 years as well. Their redesign was just unfathomable, in my opinion, that they could take their classic brown and white uniforms and trash them like they have. The new Color Rush uniform is the only saving grace to their uniforms, and I'm not a particular lover of it because it's just monochromatic orange on brown with no white. I'm sorry, that was a bad idea too. But the sad part is that when I saw them wearing their Color Rush uniform against the Rams on this past Sunday night as I'm filming this, which, today as I'm filming this, it's September 23rd, eh? But you know what? The thing is when I saw that game, that's the first time in a long time that I've seen the Browns actually look kind of okay in terms of their uniforms. And it's also the first time that I've ever seen them since I've started following football on a Sunday night game. So clearly something good is starting to happen in Cleveland, which I think their fans deserve it after the years of futility that franchise has had. My God, I feel bad for Browns fans. I really do. But you know what? I'll quickly mention and acknowledge something that the Browns have done recently. For the Sunday night game, I noticed they were wearing orange socks with their Color Rush uniform. And now that it's their primary home uniform, I guess they're allowed to tweak it. But this whole Color Rush thing, in my opinion, is just getting out of control. Now, let's take a look at some more Buccaneers uniforms. When I saw the Buccaneers sporting this all-white uniform recently in a game, it was the first time that I've seen a Buccaneers uniform in the past 5 years that was better than absolutely atrocious. It's hideous, but it's less hideous. I think the Buccaneers should just wear this combination for the rest of the season. It's the only uniform they have that, in my opinion, isn't a total, from head to toe, isn't an absolute write-off. This uniform sucks, but at least this uniform here is a little bit more of a toned down version of their color rash and home atrocities that they have to wear this season. Look at those digital alarm clock numbers. They are absolutely atrocious. And this shoulder yoke and these little orange slashes here. Or creamsicle orange, I know. But, it's just, I mean, these guys have to do a redesign next year. That's how bad these uniforms are. I can't believe that the NFL is forcing this team to wear this crap again. And, the Buccaneers deserve 2 million thumbs down. Or however many thumbs you can put down possible from multiple different human hands because of the fact that they approved this design in the first place. I mean, I'm going to be honest, but their pewter and red uniforms that they had when they won their Super Bowl, their one and only Super Bowl title, are the only pewter uniforms that I've seen that are relatively tolerable. Now, I think a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I've always felt that the red and pewter color scheme has been incredibly overrated. Now, am I saying that the Buccaneers should go back to the Bucco Bruce uniforms with red on orange? No. I mean, as I will tell you, folks, that I honestly feel that the creamsicle should be their primary color again. It's a unique shade of orange, and I think it's a really good color. But I think that what they should do is they should go for creamsicle as the main color, but black instead of red. And I think something like that would be really cool. I mean, some people would say, hey, what about orange and pewter? It would be unique as well, but I think orange and black is a lot simpler. And with them using the creamsicle orange that they've had since they became an NFL team in the first place, I think it would be a kind of a unique color scheme, and I think it actually has the potential to be a really good idea. But I mean, this uniform here, they're all white uniform. In my opinion, they should just wear this for all of their remaining games of the year because it's the only uniform that isn't a total 1 million out of 10 or negative 1 million out of 10 or negative infinity out of 10. Terrible. This one I'd say is a negative, let's see, I'll try and be positive here. How about a negative 11 out of 10? Okay, I'll give it a negative 10. But anyways, you get my point. It's bad. And then you've got this thing here, the all red color rash. Not color rush. I'm calling it a color rash. I mean, for Christ's sake. What pisses me off about the NFL is that, when they did this Thursday night program where teams are going to wear solid head-to-toe monochromatic one-piece jumpsuits for Thursday night games, okay, you've got this one night in the week where we're going to be subjected to, this monochrome color rush program and be visually traumatized for life thanks to these hideous NFL uniforms. Okay, I'm just kidding. But, I mean, if the Buccaneers were allowed to wear this red jersey with pewter pants or even white pants, this would be an improvement. And you notice these little pewter sashes along the upper chest. Well, after they wore this exact jersey design for the one game that they wore it against the, wait for it, St. Louis Rams before they relocated to Los Angeles 4 years ago, the following years after that, they've since taken these off. And this is the only thing right here that gives this design anything more than just being a lousy red practice jersey with hideous alarm clock pewter numbers. But no, the only thing that gives this uniform or jersey a redeeming quality of any kind, they took off. So, I mean, I'm sorry, folks. If I sound like I'm in a real venting mood, that's because I cannot believe that the Buccaneers have to wear this crap any longer. I mean, look, it's just a red practice jersey with red pants and red socks, and sorry, I know I keep going on about it, but for Christ's sake, what a horrible, horrible design. And this is just a red practice jersey now. I mean, if you look at this last photo, I mean, it wasn't much of an extra detail to this uniform. And I'm not giving this uniform praise. But what I'm trying to get at is that thanks to these little pewter sashes on the upper chest, this color rush uniform, jersey to be exact, actually had a little bit of a design to it. A little bit. And they get rid of it after one stupid game. What a stupid idea. What a stupid idea. So I'm going to quickly touch base on this inverted jersey that I've seen. But look at this. I mean, this one's got red on top, creamsicle, and pewter. I hate to say it, but their Color Rush jersey is better than this. Yuck. I mean, in terms of it being just a fashion jersey, I mean, whatever. I mean, if Nike can sell these to people, then congratulations. But I'm sorry, this is just bad too. And I thought I'd acknowledge it. But anyways, I've seen this photo recently, and I think it was a preseason or a practice scrimmage or something. But in terms of what the Buccaneers could come up with, I could see the Buccaneers keep their stupid alarm clock number font and go with something a little more simple like this, where they'll probably add a little hint of pewter and a little tiny shot of creamsicle on the sleeves and say, good enough. And you know what? They might even go with an alarm clock inspired block font, where they'll keep it to be edgy and to be, unique and have their special Nike font to some degree, but they're going to change it so that fans don't totally want to burn their uniforms in a bonfire. But in my opinion, and I'm sorry to sound like a pessimist, and I'm sorry to be negative, but I really don't have much faith in Nike and the NFL's 32 franchises when it comes to uniform redesigns. I mean, when the Jaguars redesigned their uniforms just over a year ago, in time for last season, their uniforms did get upgraded. But the problem is the uniforms they replaced were not very good at all. And those helmets, thank God they're gone. Or actually, I should be thanking the Jaguars, not, But anyway, it's the Jaguars did improve their uniforms. So do I think that the Buccaneers' new uniforms will be upgrades? I'm going to go on a limb and say yes. Because I really don't think you can get much worse than what they've got now, eh? But you know what? As I say that, next thing you know, they come out with some Zubaz or some weird type of gradient or camo effect uniform and some stupid gimmick. But, I hate to say it. And you know what? I really hate to say this because, in my opinion, the Buccaneers, if they would have just made their Color Rush jersey their home jersey and wore it with their regular uniform, it would have actually been more tolerable. If the Rams could wear their royal blue throwbacks as their main home jersey and the Browns could do the same with their brown Color Rush uniform for this season, I don't know why the Bucs could even just take their plain red practice jersey that they call a Color Rush jersey now without these pewter sashes on the front and wear that with even pewter pants or white pants and wear that as their home uniform. If it was their main uniform for this year, it wouldn't be a Color Rush uniform now, would it? And then for maybe 2 games, until they will thankfully retire this forever after, at least I hope, they could have worn this as their third uniform as a quote-unquote color rash and worn this piece of crap with red pants for 2 games or something and then retired it forever. But, I hate to say it, but their Color Rush jersey is better than this. And it's basically a red practice jersey with shiny pewter numbers on it now, since they decided to take their little pewter sashes on the front. That was the only element that made it something more than just a stupid red practice jersey, basically. And you know what? I've actually seen a concept of, of this Color Rush jersey, but in pewter. And that would have been an interesting idea too, and for a Color Rush uniform. Or maybe they could have brought it out as a third jersey. Oh yeah, right. The NFL makes you have to keep all of your uniforms for 5 years. I think that at the bare minimum, and you know what, maybe I'll do a rant video on it, but they should allow teams to at least make a new alternate a little bit sooner than a full-blown redesign. And maybe, I don't think they should have to wait 5 years to get at least a new third jersey of some sort, or an alternate uniform now that most teams now have 4 jerseys rather than 3. I mean, you've got teams like, say, Seattle that have 4. I think the 49ers, now that they've added their white throwbacks, may still have their black color rush uniform that is totally pathetic. Horrible design, too. I think they might have that still listed as an actual alternate, but if not, I certainly don't miss it. You've got other teams like, for example, just trying to think off the top of my head. Just trying to think. Like the Chargers. Actually, most teams don't have 4 uniforms. My bad. At least from what I can remember. But you got teams like the Ravens, the Chargers, the Seahawks that have 2 alternate uniforms. I'm not sure if the Saints still continue to have their black throwbacks in their arsenal of uniforms. I think they might have just brought that out for an anniversary year in the past couple of years. Hopefully that's not the case, because I think the Saints should just go full-time retro, but there's multiple teams that have 4 uniforms. So that's definitely different. But, you know, this whole color rush thing, in my opinion, is terrible. And I still got to talk about the color rush uniforms at some point. But what I'm trying to get at is that this rumor that the Buccaneers getting new uniforms next year is something that should not just be a rumor. I really hope the Buccaneers just say, look, we royally have screwed up our uniforms and we're thankfully redesigning them. I mean, I would not be surprised if they go the simplicity route like the Jaguars and do something kind of similar to this as their main jersey going forward, with a matching away without the pewter shoulders. That'll look better. But you know what? Although they're not my favorite uniforms, I think most of us can agree that their Super Bowl winning red and pewter uniforms before Nike and the Buccaneers both mutually agreed to ruin and trash their uniforms entirely. I think those would be a good thing to throw back to, because what they've got now, honestly, I can't get over how bad they are. These could arguably be the worst uniforms in NFL history. Easily. I mean, and once again, I can't say it enough. I think it's a crying shame that the NFL makes teams have to wait 5 years to redesign uniforms. I think that what they should do is they should make that the standard, but I think there should be a case-by-case basis where teams should be allowed after 3 years to be able to request an earlier fast tracking for a redesign. I mean, it would be nice to see a team like the Tennessee Titans, who've crapped the bed on their uniforms they unveiled a year ago, be able to throw those into the garbage bin sooner than 5 years. And for the record, I hate the Titans' new uniforms. I thought that their last uniforms were okay. They weren't my favorite, but they're certainly better than what's replaced them. I mean, they went from having an okay design, which I was hoping would get improved upon, but of course I knew that it's Nike's NFL uniform era and not Reebok, so that means that their uniforms are going to get trashed, most likely, and I was right. But thankfully, I can say one good thing about a new Nike redesign is that I do like the new shade of green for the Jets. But besides that, the uniforms are not my favorite, but I do like that there is an NFL team again that wears a lighter hue of green. It's long, long overdue. But anyways, you guys, I want to share my thoughts on this rumor and talk about the fact that the Buccaneers are, according to the rumor mill, actually going to discard these atrocities. These total monstrosities of so-called quote-unquote uniforms at the end of this season. Well, you know what, Tampa Bay? There's an old saying. If you do it right the first time, you don't have to do it right a second time. In fact, these uniforms are all so freaking bad that you should have never redesigned the uniforms you had in the first place. They're not my favorite, but they're certainly worlds better than this crap. Whether it's this one, the away uniform, or the red ketchup leotard, or the red jumpsuits, or the red Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Woo! Go Power Rangers! All the way to a bad season or two. You know, hopefully the Buccaneers are going to change their uniforms and, you know, create something that's at least better than this, or better than these. I mean, their red color rush uniform just reminds me of Power Rangers. You know, it's really bad. I mean, the Buccaneers uniforms are all a total catastrophic failure, as they would say on the show Forged in Fire. That's about what I would call these uniforms, a catastrophic failure, I would say. I know I'm talking about jerseys, and that show's about, you know, bladesmiths, but whatever. I'm just trying to make my point here. But anyways, folks, what do you think? I would honestly be shocked if anybody even likes these things. They're terrible. And actually, they're not terrible. They're downright hideous. That's the right term for them. Absolutely atrocious is my opinion that I've said quite a few times in this video now. But anyways, folks, I've talked for about 26 minutes. I needed to vent on this because these just suck. They're beyond suck. They're just mind-blowing or mind-bogglingly bad, if that's even proper English that I'm speaking there. But anyways, what do you guys think? Can we all just agree that these things are awful? Anyways, I'm going to call it a wrap on this video. I hope that this rumor actually is going to become reality, and I hope that this rumor has made at least one of you viewers out there happy. Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm absolutely ecstatic that this rumor is out there. I just hope it's going to become reality by this time next year. All right, folks, that's it for this video. I think I've talked more than long enough. Sorry, I ranted and complained long enough. I hope you've enjoyed this. And as always, folks, take care. And as usual, bye for now. And Tampa Bay, fix your goddamn uniforms.